Hello everyone, I'm back today with a new process video. I'm working on another 6x8 pocket page. This will actually be a single page. I've already done what's on the other side, so this is just a single by itself here. And I have two 3x4 pockets and a 4x6. I've already picked out my photos, so obviously this one's going to go here. Up here, I think this is how I'm going to arrange it, that this will be in the right pocket and then these will be in the left. Obviously, I have too many here to fit in there, so that means I have to do one of these, a flip. So I have that at the ready, and I'm pretty sure this is the card I'm going to use. I kind of like it because it's just black and white. So what I'm thinking is that I'm going to go with just a black and white theme here because I do have, other colors, this kind of burnt orange rust color here, lots of greens, a little bit of cream, lots of neutrals in there, and then just this bright kind of burnt orange color. So in order to to make it overwhelming, I think I'm just going to go with the black and white. So I've got the card here, but what else I do with these photos, I don't know. Haven't gotten that far yet. So I'm just going to mess around with this layout. I'm going to go into my stash and see what items I can find, and then I'll be back. I went into my stash to look specifically for black and white type items, and one of the things I found was this little circle. If I remember correctly, this is from a digital set of stuff that I bought from the Reset Girl. I'm pretty sure she has a ton of different themes or collections also. I don't remember which one this is, sorry. But I just, printed it, I punched it out with my circle punch, and then I can just use it as is. And what I think I'm going to do is, because most of the color and most of the scenic things are happening in this photo, I think I'm just going to attach it somewhere here on the right hand side, somewhere up here, and cut off the excess just to give it a little extra pop. Now I realized when I went off camera before that I didn't explain what these are. These are photos of the neighborhood where I stayed on my Denver trip. I stayed in a hostel, which it was kind of a house that looks similar to this. It was a few doors down, but I've done that on a different page. And it was odd because normally when you think a hostel, it's a much larger building. Lots of them are usually like in right in downtown, and very small rooms, dorm rooms, and private rooms. This hostel was quite different. It's a house, it was almost more like a bed and breakfast in that it only had, I think, 6 rooms, 6 or 7 maybe. Most of them were private. There were a few where you had to share. I had a private room, and it was huge. It was ginormous. I've never seen a hostel room that big ever. So quite different. And then because it wasn't in the heart of downtown, I also wanted to showcase the neighborhood. So all of these photos are from when I woke up in the morning and I was on my walk between where I stayed and the botanical garden. So that's what you're seeing here. And I love the architecture of these old houses and buildings. So I want to include that. So that's where I am at this point. I'm going to figure out how to attach this over here. Once I do that, I'm going to have to go back into my stash to look for some other things that might work, but for now my plan is just to attach this and go from there. I did attach the circle there, and that's probably all I'll do with this photo. Now I have to work on the other photos in the card. And when I went into my stash, I went into all of my phrase labels. I have a whole set that are kind of generic, and then I have another huge set that are all travel related. So I went to the travel ones, and these are what I found. I found this one, Experiencing Life Elsewhere. And then the other one, If You Need Me, I'll Be Busy Being Lost. Now I didn't actually get lost. I knew where I was in the neighborhood, but I like the saying. And they both work with the black and white idea that I had. So I think I'm going to use these. And I was thinking this one on this side here. I don't want to cover up too much of the sky because I think it brings in some color. And then on these, so these two are going to be part of the flip. This one will be in back. So I'm trying to decide, do I want to put it here on this photo or somewhere on this one? It would have to be towards the bottom so it doesn't cover up anything. I kind of like it on this one. When I look at it, let's think about this here. So if this is my top card, when I flip it up, you're gonna see this. And then, oh, you know what? I do like it better here because when it flips up, you'll kind of see it. And then this will be in the back. So these won't be next to each other. They'll be diagonal from each other. So I do like that better, that it'll be on the inside of the flip. And then you'll just see this on top. Yep. All right, I've decided that's what I'm doing. So it's going to be on this side of the photo. So I'm going to attach those and then I will come back again. I have attached the phrases. However, after I did them, I realized I lined these up both on the right side, and I don't like that. I don't like them on top of each other in a straight line like that. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to have to change these. So this will end up being over here, and these will be over here, and that way you won't see that all in a line. It'll still work when you flip up. You know, you're going to still see the same things. It's just better distribution, I think, of these elements that are on the right-hand sides of things. So now it's a little bit more evenly distributed. So these two are done. Not really planning to do anything else with those. But I do feel like this card maybe needs some color. And I'm thinking maybe green, because this color here, this kind of rust color, it's a lot. And it's in almost all the photos. And the green is too, but it's not as prominent. And so I think maybe I'm going to find some rhinestones or some washi or something just to liven up this card a little bit. So that is my next step. I decided to pick out some washi and see if I like the way that looks. The problem is though, I have many shades of green. So I have picked out 3, and I think I could probably get away with any of them because if you look, you know, these greens aren't exactly the same. But I'm just going to try some and see what happens. So these are the 3 I've selected. I have 2 that are very thin, and then I have this wider one. And what I'm thinking is I'll either overlap some at the top, or maybe put it either right under about or right under this dotted line here. I'm not sure. But these are the colors and patterns I have here. So this is more of like a Kelly green, and it's got this nice kind of hashed pattern. I don't know what you call that, but it's kind of a stripe. And then I have this one, which is kind of a medium tone of green here, and it just has little white dots there. And then I have this one, which is more of an olive green, and it's got, I don't know if the camera will show it. Let me get right up on there. It's got kind of a hexagon pattern in it, almost like a beehive pattern. So I'm going to test these out, see what I like, and then I'll decide which one functions the best. I decided to go with this choice of washi here. Tried the others and they were okay, but this was the one I liked the best. So here's what the card looks like when it's done. I decided to do a longer strip up top to really bring in that green, and then a smaller one down here just to kind of overlap this bottom outline here. And then since the journaling will all be here, that will be in black too. So it's a lot of black centered in the middle. So I thought green would be appropriate on kind of both ends of the card. So that's what it'll look like when it's sitting there. So I may also add a little rhinestone, I'm not sure, but I'm going to put this pocket together and at least get that all done, and then I'll make my decision on whether or not I want to add something else here at the end. I did decide to add a little rhinestone here just for a little shine. Brings out the color a little bit more, I think, so everything doesn't look quite so flat. So I did do that. I have the rest of the pocket ready here, so I'm just going to slide this photo in, or not photo, pocket card, so that you can see what it will look like. And if you've never done a pocket card before, you can adhere it. You still have access to get everything in and out, so it won't hurt anything if I attach it right now. I can always remove the card later to journal, which is what I plan to do. So I took off the adhesive strip, and I'm just going to line this up as best I can here. With these Simple Stories pockets, there does tend to be a little bit of an overlap on the outside, and you'll see what I mean in just a minute. There we go. So this is attached. That's just how I want it. Sorry, that's my cat there, one of them. So you can kind of see, hopefully the camera picks it up, that there is a slight overlap here. If that bothers you, you can trim that closer. It won't hurt anything as long as you don't cross the seam right here. So if you have a really fine tip scissors, you can take care of that. Most of the time I just leave it. It doesn't bother me once it's in the album. When you're flipping through the pages, you don't really notice it. But if you're, you know, really OCD type A, whatever, and I am sometimes too, if it bothers you enough, you can just trim that off a little bit. But otherwise, I think this one is done. So I mostly kept to my black and white theme that I had here. I added a little bit of green and then the flip. So I think it came out well, and that's all I'm going to do with that one. So thanks for watching, everybody.